You know that feeling. It is 3 a.m. The room is pitch black, silent, and cold, except for the harsh, glowing blue light of your smartphone illuminating your face. Your eyes are burning, begging to close. You know, with absolute, terrifying certainty, that your alarm is going to go off in exactly 3.5 hours. You know you have a critical meeting tomorrow. You know you are going to feel like a walking zombie, miserable and exhausted, chugging coffee just to survive the morning. And yet, what do? You tell yourself, just one more video. Just one more scroll. Just 5 more minutes. But you have been telling yourself that lie for the last 3 hours. Your thumb swipes up again, delivering another 5-second hit of entertainment you don't even really care about. You feel a deep sense of guilt and frustration, silently screaming at yourself to just put the phone down and go to sleep. But your hand refuses to listen. Why do you actively sabotage your own rest? Why does it feel like an invisible force is keeping you awake against your own rational will? If you have ever felt this way, I want you to take a deep breath. You are not broken. You are not inherently lazy, and you are certainly not bad at sleeping. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do under extreme modern pressure. Today, we are going to decode the fascinating, and slightly terrifying, psychology behind why your brain forces you to stay awake. We are going to look at the invisible warfare happening inside your nervous system every night. And more importantly, I will give you 3 neuroscience-backed techniques to take back control tonight, stop the self-sabotage, and finally get the rest you deserve, without having to lock your phone in a safe. Let's start by laying the foundation. This phenomenon is not just a personal failing, it is a globally recognized psychological behavior. Scientists and researchers officially call it revenge bedtime procrastination. The term first gained massive traction in China, describing workers stuck in the grueling 996 work culture, working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., 6 days a week, who would sacrifice sleep just to have a few hours of personal time. However, the science behind it was extensively studied and formalized by Dr. Floor Kroes and her research team at Utrecht University in the Netherlands in 2014. They defined bedtime procrastination as failing to go to bed at the intended time, while no external circumstances prevent a person from doing so. But why the word revenge? That is the most crucial part of this entire puzzle. To understand this, we have to look at a core psychological framework called ego depletion. Think of your willpower and self-control like the battery on your smartphone. When you wake up in the morning after a good night's rest, that battery is at 100%. But throughout the day, every single thing you do that requires effort drains that battery. When you force yourself to get out of bed instead of hitting snooze, -5%. When you sit in traffic and resist the urge to scream, -10%. When you sit through a boring 2-hour meeting, nodding politely, -20%. When you bite your tongue instead of snapping at an annoying coworker, or force yourself to do a complex task you hate, your battery drains faster and faster. By the time 8 p.m. rolls around, your willpower battery is flashing a red 1%. And in a moment, I'll show you exactly what happens in your brain when that battery hits zero, and why it completely hijacks your nighttime routine. But here's where it gets really interesting. Revenge bedtime procrastination is not actually about sleep at all. It is about control. Let's dive deep into why you feel this overwhelming, almost magnetic pull to stay awake. The first major mechanism at play is what psychologists call the locus of control. Think of your locus of control as the steering wheel of your life. When you have an internal locus of control, you feel like your hands are on the wheel. You decide where you go. But for most of us, our days are dictated by an external locus of control. Your boss tells you what to do. Your clients demand your attention. Your family needs your care. Society dictates your schedule. For 12 to 14 hours a day, someone else is driving your car. A fascinating 2020 study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology highlighted that individuals who experience high stress and a severe lack of free time during the day are exponentially more likely to engage in bedtime procrastination. You don't actually want to stay awake, you want me time. The late night hours, when the emails stop, when the house is quiet, when no one needs anything from you, are the only hours where you finally get your hands back on the steering wheel. Staying up late is your brain's rebellion. It is a psychological protest. You are sacrificing your physical health tomorrow to reclaim your psychological freedom today. Your brain is saying, I have been a good employee, a good partner, a good citizen all day. I deserve this time for myself, and I am going to take it, even if it hurts me. Now, pay close attention to this next part, because this is where the biological trap snaps shut. The second mechanism is the brutal chemical warfare happening in your brain, the dopamine versus melatonin war. Under normal, healthy conditions, as the sun goes down and darkness sets in, your brain's pineal gland begins to secrete melatonin. Think of melatonin as the brain's natural, soothing lullaby. It is a chemical signal that whispers to your nervous system, the day is done. It is time to rest, repair, and prepare for tomorrow. But then, you pick up your phone. Your smartphone screen emits intense blue light, which directly inhibits melatonin production. But worse than the light is the content. Every time you swipe, every time you see a new video, a funny meme, or a shocking news headline, your brain releases a spike of dopamine. Dopamine is not the happiness chemical, as many mistakenly believe. It is the seeking and reward prediction chemical. Think of dopamine as a casino slot machine in your brain. It keeps you pulling the lever, promising that the next swipe will be the jackpot, the funniest video, the most interesting fact. So, at 2 a.m., you are pitting a gentle, quiet lullaby, melatonin, against a flashing, loud, high-stakes Las Vegas casino, dopamine. It is an unfair fight. The casino wins every time. We'll get to the shocking twist about what this casino is actually doing to your energy levels at the end, but first, we need to understand the emotional toll. The third sign that you are trapped in the revenge bedtime procrastination loop is emotional numbing. Often, we use those late-night hours not just for freedom, but as an anesthetic. When you lie in the dark, the distractions of the day fade away, and the anxieties of tomorrow, the unpaid bills, the daunting projects, the relationship issues, start to creep into your conscious mind. A pivotal 2018 study led by Melissa Hunt at the University of Pennsylvania showed a direct, causal link between high social media use and significant increases in feelings of loneliness, depression, and anxiety. When you scroll endlessly at night, you are not just entertaining yourself, you are numbing yourself. You are trying to silence the loud, anxious voices of tomorrow by drowning them in a flood of cheap, fast dopamine today. You are terrified of being alone with your own unfiltered thoughts in the quiet dark, so you use the screen as a shield. And this is the part that blew my mind. The biggest lie you tell yourself every single night is that staying up and scrolling on your phone is relaxing. You justify it by saying, "I've worked hard all day, I just need to unwind and turn my brain off." But this is a psychological illusion known as faux-leisure, or fake leisure. When you are scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, your brain is not resting. It is processing thousands of micro-decisions, evaluating visual stimuli, and experiencing rapid emotional spikes and crashes every single minute. You might physically be lying in bed, but cognitively, your brain is sprinting on a treadmill at maximum speed. It is the cognitive equivalent of trying to rest by running a marathon. You are actually working overtime, unpaid, and exhausting your central nervous system even further. You wake up the next day not just sleep-deprived, but neurologically fried, which means your willpower battery starts the next day at 50% instead of 100%. This guarantees you will have even less self-control the next night, trapping you in a vicious, self-destructive cycle. So, how do we break this cycle? How do you take back your sleep when your brain is screaming for revenge and freedom? Here are 3 actionable, neuroscience-backed techniques you can use tonight. Technique 1, the transition ritual. Dr. Matthew Walker, a renowned neuroscientist at UC Berkeley and author of the groundbreaking book Why We Sleep, frequently emphasizes that the brain is not a light switch. You cannot go from 100 miles per hour to 0 instantly. Think of your brain as a massive commercial airplane, it needs a long runway to land safely. You need to build a 30-minute transition ritual. During this time, you must switch from dopamine-seeking activities, screens, to activities that activate your parasympathetic nervous system. Think of this as your brain's built-in brake pedal. This is the rest and digest mode. Reading a physical fiction book, doing light stretching, or listening to calm instrumental music signals safety to your nervous system, allowing melatonin to finally take over. Technique 2, micro-revenge during the day. If revenge bedtime procrastination is a desperate cry for freedom and control, the solution is not to fight the cry, but to answer it earlier in the day. You need to reclaim your locus of control while the sun is still up. Schedule 15 to 20 minutes of absolute, unapologetic me time in the middle of your day. This isn't time to run errands or check personal emails. Go for a walk without your phone. Sit in your car and listen to your favorite song with your eyes closed. Do something completely unproductive that you chose to do. By giving your brain a taste of freedom and autonomy during the day, it won't feel so starved for it at 2 a.m. You are preemptively disarming the need for revenge. Technique 3, the temptation bundling reframe. Your brain hates being told no. If you tell yourself, I cannot look at my phone tonight, your brain will fixate on it, causing more stress. Instead, we use a psychological technique called cognitive reframing. You change the rules of engagement. Instead of banning the phone, use temptation bundling. Tell yourself, I am allowed to listen to my favorite podcast, or an audiobook, or a YouTube video, but only if the screen is face down, the room is dark, and my eyes are closed. You are still giving your brain the entertainment and distraction it craves to silence the anxiety, but you are completely removing the blue light and the active, dopamine-spiking physical action of scrolling. You will be amazed at how quickly you fall asleep when you are just listening in the dark, rather than actively engaging with a screen. This video is for educational purposes only. If you are struggling with chronic insomnia, severe anxiety, or clinical depression that is preventing you from sleeping, please reach out to a licensed mental health professional. Your mental health is too important to handle alone. Now, I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, what is the absolute latest time you have stayed up scrolling out of revenge, and what kind of content were you watching when you finally realized you were trapped? Let's normalize this struggle and help each other out. If this video helped you understand your own brain a little better, please hit that like button, subscribe to Synapse Secrets, and ring the notification bell so you never miss our deep dives into the psychology of everyday life. Sleep well tonight, and I will see you in the next one.